Hey guys, it's Shaylin and welcome to my channel. My first video went live a week ago and it's actually doing really well. Thank you for all the love on it. And today I thought it'd be fun to do the story time that nobody asked for in the last video. I'm just saying. Let me stop rambling because I hate long intros on YouTube videos, so we're not gonna do that here. And we'll just get on with the video.
The throwback pics up in there.
I'm a hot girl, I do finish income on my outfit. I don't think quick, cause I ain't thirsty. People mad, they wanna hurt me. I'm a hot girl, I do hot.
So, we're just gonna get started. Be telling two stories on how two different girls try to take my mans, but they're kind of short because, you know, these girls can't put up a fight very long. Okay, Google, give me a random boy's name.
I always liked the name Charles because it reminds me of Charles'
Okay.
first mechanical computer.
Okay, so I guess we're calling him Charles. Give me a random girl's name.
You could name her Lonnie.
Okay, we're gonna call her Lonnie. So, Lonnie. Lonnie was in my last video. As you can see her featured here. Story with Lonnie. I didn't know this till after this whole situation happened, but I had Lonnie in my 5th grade class. I don't remember her. She got up and left to New York pretty quickly, but she came back the end of 6th grade. I had one class with her, and that was current events, and that was the last hour of the day. Baby girl Lonnie over here. I remember her walking in, you know, she sat down. I was like, who is she? I always try to be friendly with the new kids because I was the new kid in 4th grade and people were not nice to me. Let me just put that out there. I had like 2 friends, and that's only because my mom literally made them for me. My first day, these girls literally bullied me. I remember being the new girl and I was scared and people were not nice to me. Or I at least tell them my experiences and they can put their judgment on my experience. So Lonnie, she sat right next to me, but we were like, our teacher social distanced us before social distancing was a thing, so thank you so much, Miss Teacher. So she sat almost right next to me, and like I like looked at her, I like smiled. I'm like, I didn't really think much of her because I was not interested. I was interested in doing my work. I remember on the first day that she was there, the teacher literally let her use her phone. Like, we can't use our phones, but she can use her phone. Whatever. It made it very clear to her that Charles was mine. We had a little 6th grade relationship. I don't even want to talk about it. But I didn't think to be worried about him in the first place because she already had a boyfriend. This girl had been there she could have been there like the entire school day, or she could have just gotten there. And she already had a boyfriend. And he was short. Actually, I shouldn't be talking, but he was shorter than her. Obviously, the girl didn't have good taste, but I mean, I didn't either, hence why we had to change his name. I wasn't very worried about making it clear because I thought this girl would be loyal to her mans, but she wasn't. I remember this one day, she came up to me, and she was like, so you and Charles are a thing? I'm like, yep, for like a month or 2. She was like, okay, and she like walked away, whatever. We just continued class, and then Charles got sent out into the hallway to do his work. There was like benches out in the hallway, so he was doing his work on one of those like benches, and like the benches were like here, and then the girls' bathroom was like here, so they're like a good distance apart where you can still like talk to the people on the benches. She had tied up her shirt to underneath her bra, and she walked up to the teacher and she was like, may I use the restroom? And the teacher was like, yeah, go ahead. She walked out, almost her whole bra showing. I remember looking at her, I was like, what is this girl doing? She saw him go out and she tied up her oh no. Like, no, this cannot be going anywhere good. So my sneaky self went up and grabbed a tissue so that way I could look out the little window, and I saw her like, she did not go to the bathroom. Like, she completely swerved the bathroom and went to the benches, and she like sat down next to him and started talking to him. I was like, okay, you're a little sus, like, you're a little sus. And I'd noticed her, like, before that, like, looking at him in class. I was like, what is this girl doing? Like, she's trying to put hits on him. Like, you literally have a boyfriend. Like, it wasn't even the fact that he was, like, mine. Like, it was the fact that she had a boyfriend. So why? So she, like, completely swerved the benches. She sat down, talked to him, and she came right back in the classroom. I remember I had to open the door for her, and I, like, looked at him, and I gave her a dirty look, and I, like, walked back to my seat. I think that was, like, the end of that story. It was the nighttime, and me and him were FaceTiming because we FaceTimed every day. And I was like, hey, so I noticed that, what do we call it? Lonnie went up to you. What were you guys talking about? And he was like, she came out there to check on me. I'm like, are you serious? Like, that's not her job. Like, if you needed to be checked on, either the teacher or I would do it. Like, that, you didn't, like, she had no reason to do that. And I think I was just so mad because she tied her shirt up. She literally did a whole, like, what are you doing? This girl is out of control. The next day, she came up to me before class. She was really testing my patience. Was like, so you guys are still dating? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, when are you gonna break up with him? And I, like, looked at her. I'm like, I'm not. Like, what do you think this is? And then she was just like, oh, well, when he's single, tell him to give me a call. I was like, well, that won't be happening anytime soon. So I swear to you, I'm the nicest person ever, but when you get on my bad side like that, when you get on my nerves like that, I can do a full 180 like that. I had a water bottle that day. I wanted to throw it at the back of her head, but I didn't. I kept my calm. I kept my cool. I kept collected. And then I remember this one day we had to present. It's her turn to present. And she literally, she pulled the whole, oh my god, like, I'm so shy, like, I don't want to do this, like, I'm so shy, like, she pulled that whole act. And then when she got up there, homegirl broke her back, like a full, girls only do that either to make other girls mad or to make boys look at them, and I wasn't liking it. So, whatever. I was walking in the hallway to that class, and she was coming out, and I dropped my AirPod, and she's like, here you go. Like, all of a sudden, she wanted to be my friend. I'm like, you're too fake. Get out. She, like, handed it back to me, and I'm like, I, like, put it back in my case, and I closed it, and I, like, walked back in the class. I saw Charles, I was like, 6th grade me did not have the confidence to do all that. I just, like, kind of, and then I sat down in my seat, and that was, like, the end of that. But then I'd noticed that this girl had started, like, copying and duetting, like, all my TikToks. Like, she duetted, like, a bunch of my TikToks. She was, like, copying them. She would use the same sound and try to do the stuff I was doing. And she started doing her makeup like me. A lot of girls in my school that wear makeup, they usually wear, like, mascara. I am really, like, in my makeup, I'm really about my highlighter. As you can see, nose highlighter, cheek highlighter, and then inner corner highlighter that not very many people at the school do. When they do it, they do, like, the little dot in their inner corner. Me, I, like, put it in my inner corner and, like, you know, spread it around a little bit. This girl started doing that. I mean, her highlighter was, like, 5 shades lighter than mine. It was bad. And then I literally, on the TikTok that I put in my last video, if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's pretty funny. That's all I gotta say. TikTok that I put in my last video, literally, like, I saw it and I, like, commented on it. I'm like, is this a joke, or, like, are you being for real? And my friend literally commented, and she was like, why are you, like, duetting all her stuff? And she was like, oh my god, like, you guys are so mean to me, like, just leave me alone. Like, I'm not trying to be mean to you, like, I'm just, like, asking, like, why are you, like, is this a joke? Like, why are you, like, duetting all my stuff? Like, why are you trying to steal my boyfriend? Like, I don't understand. I just think, like, why are you so obsessed with me? That was the story of that girl. She never really did anything. I did make sure that, you know, stuff didn't happen between them. She moved in 7th grade. And I remember this other time in 7th grade, because I'd still like held a grudge against her because I'm like, no, I don't play that. She was like kept looking at me. She would always stare at me. In our 4th hour class that I had with her in 7th grade, she was just always looking at me. Telling my friend Ashley, I was like, I swear to God, if this girl keeps looking at me, like, I'm gonna say something. And Ashley's like, no, you're not. I was like, and I like looked up, and of course she was staring at me. So what did I do? I was like, can I help you? Like, do you want my autograph? Like, do you want a picture? Like, can I help you? Because you're staring mad hard. And she just like looked away really quickly. She was like, I cannot believe you did that. I was like, well, she kept looking at me. Like I said, if she kept looking at me that I was gonna say something. Now I'm not gonna say something and not act on it. So next story about the next girl. What should we call her? Okay, Google, give me a random girl name.
You could name her Jasmine.
Let's name her Jasmine. So Jasmine. Jasmine led to my breakup. Thank you, Jasmine. No, I'm kidding. Thank you, Jasmine. Like, thank you, because that was so toxic. A whole nother story. Anyway, again, this is still with Charles. So, I was on FaceTime with him, you know, one day, like we were every single day. I was on FaceTime with him, and I had noticed he was, like, really giggly, and he kept getting, like, Snapchat notifications. I was like, little sus. Like, you're a little sus. And he was, like, kind of, like, ignoring me, and I was like, okay, like, this is weird. Not being an attention-seeking like girlfriend, but it was just like, usually give me your 100% undivided attention, so why are things different today, and who's Snapchatting you? So I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, no, it's no one, like he wouldn't cheat on you, babe. Like I was literally telling myself all the things the guys would say. Like, I like got curious, so I asked him, I was like, who's Snapchatting you? And he was like, oh, just my friend. I think he said his, like, friend Jerry or something. He was like, oh, no, just my friend Jerry. And I was like, oh, okay. I didn't think much of it. I got, like, this really, like, weird feeling. And so what did I do? I logged into his Snap. And I wasn't even trying to be toxic. It was just, like, I had, like, this gut feeling of something was up. I had noticed that he was texting Jasmine. And I was like, And then we went on FaceTime again, and then I was like, he was like, oh my God, Jasmine keeps Snapchatting me. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, she keeps Snapchatting me. I'm like, well, if you're bothered by her, like, you know, block her. He was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And I was like, okay, but I mean, if you're bothered by it, then block her. And he was like, no, there's no need for that. And I was like, okay. He just kept complaining like the whole night. He was like, Jasmine's texting me. And I'm like, well, again, if you're bothered by her, then just block her. He was like, no. Like, no. But yet, when somebody from my past came hitting me up, he was like, block them now, block them, you have to block them. He's a whole nother story. He's a whole video and a half. He's a whole part 3. He's a whole 3 videos. So much to tell you there. I wasn't trying to be pushy. Like, I wasn't gonna be like, block her, block her, block her. Like, you have to block her. But it was like, okay, you keep complaining about her, so why aren't you doing anything about it? Like, just block her. He didn't, of course, because he's a guy and guys are clueless sometimes. I eventually texted her and I'm like, yo, like, why do you keep Snapchatting Charles? And she's like, he's Snapchatting me. And I'm like, well, that's not what I'm hearing. And then he was like, oh, she just called you like a rat. Like, she just called you ugly. And I was like, what did he say about it? He said nothing. He said nothing to her. Like, how do you just sit there, like, as, like, a boyfriend? Like, how do you sit there and just let someone call your girlfriend ugly and a rat? And especially another female. Like, why are you even entertaining her in the first place? And she was, like, sending me screenshots of their messages. Literally get the chills just thinking about it because, yikes. She had sent me the screenshots of their messages, so I'm reading them, and it's, like, a normal conversation, like, hi, how are you? Like, I'm good, how are you? And then me and him always had this thing, and it was so ... And I used it when we first started talking. He was like, so what? And I was like, no, it's something you say when you really, like, want to keep talking to someone, but you don't know what to say. Well, you know, my friends tried using it with me, and I'm like, you know, while I was still dating him. And I was like, no, like, that's mine and Charles's thing. Like, I can't do that with anybody else. He was doing it with other girls. I saw it in the messages. So he'd be like, so, and she'd be like, so what? And then he, like, explained it to her, like, the same exact scenario happened. I was like, okay, do I want to keep reading? I kept reading. I kept reading. Let me just note, Jasmine went to our school. She was in our same grade. Like, just, you want to ask each other questions? And she was like, sure. I was like, so, like, what sports do you play? Like, do you like the sports you play? Something like that. It was about sports. Then she was like, so if you weren't dating Jalen, like, would you date me? And he was like, yeah, of course. Like, you're so pretty. I was like, okay, just keep reading. He was like, you know, like, would you kiss me? Like, I don't know. He was just saying, like, they were just flirting back and forth like that. And I'm literally sitting there, I'm reading it in my heart. I can just feel, like, the pain in my chest. And I'm like, okay. But I, like, texted her, I'm like, what, why are you flirting with him? Like, you know he has a girlfriend. Like, you're literally texting his girlfriend right now. Like, why are you flirting with him? And she was like, I'm not flirting with him. Like, he's literally flirting with me. And, you know, he just kept entertaining all this. And he like, put us in a house party chat, like, me, her, and him. And I don't know. It was just it was a mess. And my messy self stayed in that relationship. I will give my 6th grade self that. I didn't put all the blame on her. I did put some of the blame. I put most of the blame on her, but I did put some of the blame on him. I mean, I did get mad at him for a good 20 minutes. Then I was right back to, hey, are you okay? Like, whole nother story. I'm telling you, he has a whole 3 videos that has to be done. My logic was like, post on my story. Like, I posted him on my story. I'm like, leave our relationship alone. Like, fast fingers, like, mad typing. It's craziness. And I stayed in the relationship. I mean, my choice. But that eventually built up to, like, the downfall. Yeah, that's gonna be all I have for you guys today. I don't know if I'm gonna post this or not, so if I post this, hi. Subscribe if you want to see more from me. Like this video if you like my story times. Also comment a question or an assumption about me, because I really want to do a Q&A/assumptions video. So just comment some assumptions or ask some questions, and I'll be reading them off in hopefully my next video, if you guys actually do what I'm asking you to do. So please do it. I think that's it. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces. I also realized last time that I did my outro wrong, so man, it was just a phase. I like you. Don't give up about your boyfriend. Come on, let's link and do what I do. I can beat it up with no hands. Off topic. I'm not a child. I just like childish things sometimes. This little piece of fuzz. PTSD things. Okay, I'm gonna go. Bye.